Morning guys, Mon here. Today I want to talk about Divine Retribution in the Phrecia event. Because a lot of people has asked about if it's going to be possible and if I'm going to start with Divine Retribution again due to the ascendancy changes. And the Divine Retribution build kind of was very locked into the Gladiator due to the measured retaliation node. You could technically run it on either Champion or Slayer as well, but Gladiator just did fit very well due to measured retaliation, determined survivor and more than skill. With these, overall the block archetype was very strong and felt very good. Now that we do not have access to this, it could be very difficult to play Divine Retribution. However, we have great news, because if you want to go play Divine Retribution, you will be able to, because we just got the confirmation that the Forbidden Flame and Flash do still grant the original nodes of the ascendancies. So as long as we take either the Paladin, the Gambler, or the third yet unrevealed class for the Duelist or for the Duelist base class, we can then go with Forbidden Flame and Flash to get the measured retaliation node. You will however have a harder time getting the block cap, which we will have to work around, so the build will in the end look quite a bit different, but you can play it if you get the funds for the Forbidden Flame and Flash. We do not know how expensive they will be yet, so I would not recommend to go as a starter. I probably will, but I always do dumb stuff, and you should probably not follow my advice there on starting with it, or you should follow my advice on not starting with it, because first of all, we do not know how expensive they will be, and don't compete with me. I want them. So that aside, we have two options here, yet we will get a third option in the next couple of days that we do not know yet, and I will probably just review them again when we have all of them. For now, we just have the Paladin and the Gambler. The Paladin has these nodes pretty dead, so we don't care about them. They are linked and party oriented. Then we have Bring the Battle, which is a pretty good offensive buff, but doesn't really provide any defensive options, because the less damage with hits and ailments only works on other targets than yourself. And then we have pretty much the only 4 nodes accessible for us are Light of Divinity for enemies take increased elemental damage, which puts us into a spot where we do have to run an elemental bit already, and then Elemental Valiance, which spawns elemental relics, which grant hatred, anger, and wrath, which also put us into a very elemental damage spot. So this means we have to play elemental, and which is kind of relevant because Divine Retribution would be elemental anyways, but you could go with the other retaliation skills in the same setup, but still have to go for elemental. The next node is Anointed Champion, which is Consecrate Ground, while stationary and linger, so pretty much you do have always Consecrate Ground, though I do not think this is too strong on its own. Maybe later with a Bottled Faith could be very, very good there. Then we do have either Discipline, Determination, or Grace at level 30. Probably Determination, but we'll have to see how that plays out. That's pretty much it for the Paladin. How exactly we will play, we don't know yet. For the Gambler, we have some other options. The ones I do think are the most interesting is going for Growing Accumulator and Spectacular Parlay for just tons of damage and try to narrow down the damage numbers as much as possible, so that we do just so that we are not too affected by the damage with hits is unlucky. Because if you're playing lightning and have a damage hit of like 10 to 1000, then damage is unlucky is a very, very big nerf to a character. But if you are like 600 to 700 damage, then it does not affect you as much there. So the critical strike chance is lucky, just strictly overweights the downside of damage is unlucky. Then we have the block nodes with Overly Confident, and here you just have to decide, do you want to either go for attack block or spell block, because one of those will be at like 95 and the other about 55%, so one will be vastly stronger than the other. And I would probably go for attack block most of the time, and for some bosses like Exile and stuff, spell block, but I'm not sure, maybe otherwise, like maybe other way around, so yeah, I'm not sure about that. But I do think these 4 nodes pretty much are the best options we have here. You could run with risk exploit over reversed odds and risk aversion. They're just difficult, though I'm not a big fan of risk aversion because you can get everything here through other means. Then we would, of course, run with the what's called Petrified Blood aura to go low life, so that we always can use Overly Confident. So yeah, pretty much everything I want to talk about. If you are interested in how the setup overall works, I'd recommend to take a look at my channel and just look for the Divine Retribution builds. I made a lot of stuff about this build, so just look into that. There's a lot of informations out there, and for the Phrecia event I will probably do one or a couple more videos about the character if I decide to end up playing something in that direction. But that's it for me for now, so I say thanks for watching and see you in the Phrecia event.